My name is Dave Trier. I'm the VP of Product for ModelOp. Today, we'll provide an overview of how our flagship product, ModelOp Center, integrates with AWS SageMaker. As a reminder, ModelOp Center provides consistent orchestration, monitoring, and governance of all models, regardless of where those models are developed, the language, the framework, where the platform they might be executing on, or the environment in which they might be running on-prem or cloud. In our latest release, ModelOp Center provides native integration with AWS SageMaker. This gives the data scientists the flexibility to develop, train, and choose the best model within AWS SageMaker, but still have that consistent model governance and model lifecycle management, which is core to creating a governed and scaled AI program. In particular, ModelOp Center allows you to register SageMaker models, have all of the SageMaker model assets automatically imported and synced within ModelOp Center, as well as a number of out-of-the-box model lifecycle templates to enable that governance workflow incorporating the SageMaker models, and finally, of course, monitoring those SageMaker models. Overall, this particular integration is extremely powerful as it gives organizations flexibility to leverage the power of AWS SageMaker, as well as helping enterprises to accelerate their on-prem to cloud migration.
Yeah, so what we're going to do today is actually walk through how we actually integrate SageMaker into our system, and because we have a really good data model and data paradigm that we do things, you'll see that it will look a lot like other models, but will actually also contain the SageMaker specific information. And unlike some solutions where we're using GitHub and dealing directly with source code, SageMaker already has a model catalog of sorts. So what we do a direct integration with them. So there's no plugins into SageMaker. You don't need to change anything that's out there. It's already pretty much ready to go. Just when you actually want us to start tracking a model, all you have to do is come to our import tool and type in the name of the model and where you were actually things and the appropriate access keys. And then we'll go ahead and actually import that model. And what that will do is it'll actually go out, it will talk to the SageMaker instance, and it will actually then pull all the existing information about that model into our model catalog on that kind of thing. So now when we actually go to look at one of these models, we'll actually see where we can see that there's now a SageMaker model that's represented the system. So that XGBoost model that we actually did, we can see the individual details of that model. So we can see things such as with the ARN of where it's actually located. You'll also notice that our concepts of snapshots, where again the mutable version of the model, we map that from the SageMaker endpoint definitions. So we actually get that information as well as to where we can actually see individual snapshot versions that are existing out there. We can see actually any training test results that were done. So for instance, these reported by SageMaker when they actually do that, and we represent them in our common format so we can actually do the decision table validation on those results if we want to actually trigger additional processes. And you also see where we also initiate model life cycles as well. So you can see we've started basically the SageMaker one, where we're going to actually look at that particular model and trigger a JIRA review, just like we do for any other regular model, where we can actually get a review process. And in this case, we do a very simplified process of actually creating a new deployment endpoint with it. But what we can actually do is when we go out and look, you'll see just like any other model within the ModelOp system, we actually get a JIRA ticket with a review request. We track that ticket. We can link right back to the model information that we were looking at earlier there from the ticket. So they can get all that kind of stuff that they want to do to actually review the SageMaker model and provide some of that lineage and proof that the model is up to expectations. So additionally, not only do we capture the information about the model itself, but also any jobs that have actually been utilized with that particular model. And we represent them in the same abstraction as other jobs, for whether they be it on Spark or one of our engines, or in this case, the SageMaker. So when we actually go look at it, so for instance, we can see there's a training job there for the original training job for that model. We'll have all the information about which snapshot it was. We'll have the file names that were associated with it, on that kind of things, the outputted file name itself and the S3 location, as well as all of the logs about the training that occurred on that kind of thing. So you can see an example of a SageMaker training job, or in the case of a more generic transform job, we'll also have the same kind of representation where we'll see the input file name that was actually done to it, the output file name in a consistent pattern with all of our other platforms, as well as the actual logs and outcome that come directly from CloudWatch into our system. So we'll pull all that information. So that way we know the exact version of the model, what level of approvals it's gone through, the lineage, et cetera, and we can tie that right to the jobs as well that were actually run on the SageMaker platform. Then finally, we have the idea, of our run times, and a SageMaker endpoint where it's actually installed somewhere is what we consider a runtime within the SageMaker environment. So we can actually see here where we have a deployed instance of that XGBoost model that's there. So we can actually get to the details of exactly where it's deployed on that kind of things, and what it's actually doing there and that kind of things. And we can even capture live statistics from the endpoint. Excuse me, they take a little while to populate, so we won't wait for that. But we do actually capture those from CloudWatch as well, so you can actually track the endpoint, what it's currently doing, and any kind of metrics or logs it's actually reporting there. So what that really gives us that's nice is, when we have this larger model catalog, we have all of the different kinds of models across all these different runtimes. And we've tightly integrated SageMaker into that system so we can have consistent views across all of the models, no matter where they are, capture that lineage information that SageMaker doesn't necessarily provide, and also integrate with your existing investments into things like Jira and Jenkins and ServiceNow and other such things to bring that into the SageMaker process to provide the validation and tracking of the models. So that's kind of an overview of basically how ModelOp has actually integrated with SageMaker seamlessly to provide you all of those capabilities.